Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today for another match preview video. They are again coming around thick and fast, which I suppose in the long run will be a good thing because that means the season will be over very, very soon. But in the short term, it means not so good because of course we continue to watch this up and down side play every week, and less than that on occasions. Of course, it's two games in the space of 4 days coming up over the Easter weekend. Of course, starting off with this game against Blackpool, which kicks off on Friday at 3 o'clock. Good Friday, of course, kick-off in the Championship at the Hawthorn. So yeah, I'd love to say I'm looking forward to it. I'm not, but I'm optimistic at the fact that we lost the last game, so that might mean we might win the next because of our inconsistency. But yeah, as always, this match preview will include a bit of an opposition look in on Blackpool. What can we expect from them? Who's their manager? Who are their key players? Predicted lineups? How do they play? That kind of thing. And then also, I like to just pick out a few talking points from Albion at the moment because obviously every week I end up talking about Albion. So yeah, I've picked out a bit of Steve Bruce and then also the goalkeeping situation at the club, which I think is quite interesting, along with my predicted 11 for both sides and a cheeky little prediction at the end. But before we crack on, make sure you subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel for more content like this. Comment your score predictions and your thoughts ahead of the game below. And yeah, let's crack on with this match preview for West Bromwich Albion versus Blackpool. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. So let's get started with this match preview, starting with the opposition. Blackpool, of course, sitting 16th in the EFL Championship at the moment. 3 wins in their last 11 and no wins in their last 4 matches. Of course, we did play them in the FA Cup last season, I remember. Also played them, of course, this season, which I believe was a 0-0 draw at Bloomfield Road. And then the penalty shootout win last season in the FA Cup are my most recent memories. Also remember Gonzalo Yara and possibly Pablo Ibanez getting sent off in the 2010-11 season away from home against themselves in a season where they very nearly stayed up. That final day was a pretty incredible game, really, and let's thank our lucky stars for that, because if Wolves had gone down on that final day, we wouldn't have been able to beat them the following season by such a margin. But of course, managed by Neil Critchley, who's a talented young manager, I think. Of course, come through Liverpool's sort of coaching setup, managed a lot of their sort of youth sides, and also been assistant manager to Klopp at some point. I think he actually took over one of those FA Cup clashes that they might have had where they struggled to field a proper side. But yeah, they're boasting the best defensive record in League One last season. Of course, came via the playoffs in Neil Critchley's first full season in management. Of course, took over in March 2020. So yeah, he's doing very well for himself at Blackpool and has done a very impressive job. And I think a lot of Blackpool fans are really pleased with the work that he's done, and of course taking them into the Championship and looks looks almost certain to be keeping them there this season. Their top scorers are Shane Lavery and Gary Medine, all on 8 goals. Josh Barler as well on 7 goals, just below them. Their top assisters are Kenny Dougal and Keshi Anderson, who both have 4 assists. And yeah, of course, Kenny Dougal was the hero in the playoff final. I think he scored 2 goals against Lincoln City. If you remember rightly, there's a couple of Albion players who were on loan that day and playing for Lincoln, of course, under Michael Appleton, former Albion player as well. Alex Palmer was in goal. I'm sure we'll come on to him later in the video. And also Callum Morton, who's now on loan at Peterborough United. But the stats for Blackpool go like this. They're 15th for goals conceded per match, 1.2 this season per game. 8th for possession won in the final third, which is quite interesting. They're looking to squeeze high up the pitch. 178 times they've won the ball back up the pitch this season. 10 clean sheets, which isn't particularly great in comparison to their record in League One last year, but you've got to remember that step up is getting, well, I say quite big, but you know, a lot of the League One sides this season have really mastered that challenge well. Two out of 3 of them have mastered it really well in the Championship this season in Blackpool and Hull City, rather than Peterborough, who look to be on their way down. But yeah, their attack's a worrying area for them. I think they're 21st in the league for big chances created, and of course having some goal scorers in there scoring 8 goals, I suppose that's not really a massive Championship tally, but yeah, I'm surprised at Jerry Yates. I don't know really what's gone on with him. He looked quite a talented player in League One, and especially when he played against us last in the FA Cup. So yeah, we shall see. But Yeah, they do look a decent side and a good outfit really to face up in. But yeah, of course, remember that 0-0 draw where we must have had about 27 chances and the game was like a basketball match once again under Ishmael. But yeah, we'll crack on with their predicted lineup. In goal, Chris Maxwell in goal. I think he might have been in goal for that penalty shootout. Right back, Jordan Gabriel signed from Nottingham Forest. Marvin Ekpieta at centre back is a very, very good pick. I think he's a very solid defender, and seen a lot of Blackpool fans on Twitter and social media sort of raving about him. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he has to offer in this one. Jordan Thornley at the other centre back position. I think he's incredible at winning his duels from the stats I was looking at in terms of his how many he wins to how many he doesn't win. So yeah, he looks very solid at the back. The defence is quite solid, I think, and they will be very organised. That's something to point out. James Husband at left back. Kyron Hamilton right midfield with Keshi Anderson on left midfield. Kenneth Dougal and Kylam Connolly in the centre midfield spots with Gary Medine and Shane Lavery there. 16-goal championship pairing up front. That's Blackpool for you. They will be very organised. We've got to be able to break them down, which we weren't able to break Stoke down in any real respect last time out. 12th in the EFL Championship at the moment for Steve Bruce's Baggies. 3 wins in 12 games for the new manager. Season is well and truly over. I think we've all sort of resigned ourselves to that sort of feeling. I think we know where this season's going, and it is ending in mid-table mediocrity, which I think is an appalling result for the squad that we do have. And I know people say they're rubbish, they're awful. I don't think they've got the right mentality, mind you, but I don't think they're bad players. And I think that with the right mentality, they would have been up there this season. And it's ridiculous that a side like this isn't. And I think we do have to look back with some of the decision making at the club as a real thing, but. Yeah, the season is well and truly over now, and Steve Bruce, his future is up in the air. I think he's going to stay. I do think he will. I think Ron Gully and him are best chums by the looks of things, and that doesn't bode well for anybody who doesn't want to see Steve Bruce at the club. I'm not sure he's the right man for the job. I don't think he's the problem at the club. I don't think he's the issue. I don't think he's really been the issue this season. I just think that alarming slide down the league table, 5th when Valérien Ismaël was sacked. But yeah. I think he'll be in charge next season, and I think we've got to get used to that reality because I think I would just love to see a fresh start with everything, the players, the manager, possibly even the board, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, Steve Bruce looks to be in charge next season, and I think we can all expect that to be the case. But otherwise, another talking point I brought up was the goalkeeping situation, which I think is quite interesting. We know that Sam Johnstone is leaving. It's unlikely that he'll play again this season. Of course, if you managed to catch some quotes from the journalists from Steve Bruce's press conference this morning, you'll have seen that, of course, that David Button is set to play the next few games, and Sam Johnstone is also not going to play the next few games. So it tells me that Sam Johnstone is perhaps off, and well, we know he's going, but we didn't perhaps expect him to be gone this early. But of course, nothing to play for now, so it's pointless keeping him around, pointless playing him really when you've got other players. It's Button and Palmer are the only 2 senior goalkeepers left. Of course, Josh Griffis is also kind of back at the club, but he's actually still a Lincoln player. He's just receiving treatment on an injury that's kept him out until the end of the season. Be interesting to see what happens with him next season. Will he play a part, or will he perhaps go out on loan because he's played regular football for Cheltenham Town and Lincoln City over the past couple of years? I think Palmer should start for the rest of the season. I think that should be the case. I think Button, we've seen enough. It's not anything to say, no, he's not the right goalkeeper for us. I'm just saying we've seen enough. We've seen him given that chance for number 1 spot a few times now when Sam Johnston's been suspended, injured, not there, whatever. And I think it's about time that Alex Palmer got his shot in goal. I think he should start. I just think it's 26 now. When's he going to get that go? When's he going to get that opportunity to play in this position and prove himself at championship level? If he's not going to do it now at the age of 26, he probably never will. He's played regular football over the past few seasons with Plymouth Argyle and also Lincoln City, as I said, last season. He's used to playing that regular football. It's not fair for him to sit on the bench, and I just think he's been very patient for his chance. He thought it might be this season because obviously he knows that Sam Johnston's out. I hope that if he is going to play Button for the next 3 games, he plays Palmer for the 3 after that. I just hope that he gets his chance because it's it's a big position, and I think it's good to give him a go. If he's not good enough, and it's proven that he's going to be a League One goalkeeper, that's fine. You let him go, but it's worth having a look at him first. But yeah, my predicted lineup for tomorrow's game will be David Button in goal. I think, obviously, as I said, Palmer I'd like to see start, but I think it'll be Button for the next few games at least. Semi Ajayi in the back three, with Dara O'Shea coming in for Carl Bartley, who had an absolute shocker against Stoke City. Matt Clark at left centre-back. I'd love to see Ethan Ingram come in, and that's my temptation at right wing-back to put him in. If not, it's probably going to be Furlong, but I think Ethan Ingram could do a decent job in that role. Give him a try for the game. Just give him a go. I think I'd like to see it. Alex Mower, Jake Livermore, and Taylor Gardner-Hickman across the midfield three, with Connor Townsend at left wing-back, Andy Carroll and Karlan Grant in the two striker roles, I suppose. Andy Carroll has to start once again. I think it's ridiculous if he doesn't get on the pitch, but yeah, that's my predicted lineup. I may even go for Malumbi over Mowat, because I think Mowat was completely anonymous, and I think he looked really leggy, and I think that's embarrassing for professional football to play a couple of games in a week and sort of be shattered by it, because albeit he did work very hard against Bournemouth, I think just he went really missing in that Stoke City game, which was an appalling performance from the whole side. So yeah, we'll stick with that lineup, and I think we'll go with that. But my prediction for tomorrow's game will be 1-0 Albion. I think we'll get a win. I think the peaks and troughs are just coming back. We'll lose to Nottingham Forest on Monday night, of course, in true Albion fashion. But we'll see. Drop your score predictions down below. Subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel if you are new. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this match preview video. We'll be back again shortly after the Forest game, I think, for a podcast reaction and whatever we're going to do. But yeah, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.